gorgeous. Yeah.
Hello, hello. Oh, you look amazing.
Thank you. So do you. Yes.
Thank you.
I love
Okay,
the top. Look at the
thank
diamonds. Yeah.
you. Have the one and only Miss Chrissy Monroe. Some of you may have heard from her on VH1's Love and Hip Hop. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I know back in October you were hospitalized and you've been kind of like going in and out. Um,
Um, Thank you for asking. I'm actually doing very well. A lot of my followers that that following my journey know that I was hospitalized with a blood clot in September for a month, and it came out of nowhere. We still don't know what caused it, but I had really sharp pains in my right hand side for 3 nights, and I finally called an ambulance and didn't realize I was going to end up in a hospital for a month. That there was a blood clot in the vein that goes through my liver. And I could have died. So that was really a tough time. I lost 30 pounds. I had 5 surgeries in 5 days. I was in a coma. The priest came, girl, and prayed over me. No, I really didn't think I was going to see outside again. So with that being said, it put everything in perspective to make me realize how short life really can be and how every minute really needs to count. So thank you for asking. I'm doing fine. I just went in for 8 days to do a colonoscopy, an endoscopy, and a fibroid embolization, kind of at the 6-month checkup mark. So I'm on top of my health. That's my #1 priority above in everything. And anybody watching this, I please encourage you to go get blood work done. Anything you might even feel might be wrong, go get it checked out, because you never know.
Yeah, I think it's very important for people to get annual checkups as well. Some people, they take years to go to the doctor because they feel fine. And I think that everyone should go, even when you feel okay. And I'm glad that you're feeling so much better. And
Thank God.
hopefully, God willing, it doesn't happen again. And you're able to live a long, healthy, and joyful life. Because you're
Well,
full
I
of
have a
life.
lot more people to annoy. That's what I would say. I have to live long. I have a lot more people to annoy.
I don't find you annoying. I find you entertaining, full of life, full of joy. And you have this inner beauty that just glows. You're beautiful in and out. And
Thank you.
I just love it. It's
I'm
so,
loving all this. Yes, yes. Keep it coming. Yes.
it's so funny because ever since I met you, you've always been like that joyful person. The funny story is that Chrissy and I met, but when we met the second time, she didn't remember how she met me, and her question was, "Were you one of my girls?"
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Because I'm like, oh no. But anyway.
I'm Vinny. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, you're hot. You're gorgeous. Look at this one.
You.
No, starting the look.
But that was like so many years ago. And you have a lot going on that I'm really excited about. First, I want to talk about your Domestic Violence Foundation, Survive to Drive Global. I think it's very important for us to shine light on what domestic violence is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that from your story, you've gotten it the worst, where it's actually gotten physical. But some
Mm-hmm.
people think that domestic violence is only when you hit someone, not the verbal abuse, the gaslighting, mentally draining somebody, wrongfully accusing your partner of something, always trying to like bring up stuff from the past and all that stuff. So give us a little more insight, because domestic violence is not only beating someone. Like, you can be abusing your partner, you can be abusing a family member verbally, and that's like domestic violence.
Yeah, there's so many variations of domestic violence. I mean, physical, of course, in my opinion, is the worst. I mean, you could get killed, literally. But, it doesn't make it any less than verbal, emotional, financial, emotional. And I experienced all of those. So, people use finances as a control tactic. They try to control you with money, which is abuse. If you leave me, you'll have nothing. Everything you have is because of me. I'll make sure nobody hires you. I'll make some calls. Things like that are very real. Verbal, which is really, I don't have to explain, people calling you names, putting you down. What's behind me? Don't scare me. It's my logo. Hold on. Don't scare me. I already think my apartment's haunted. Anyway, verbal, which is self-explanatory. Most people have, even, kids verbally abuse each other, which is horrible, bullying and stuff. Emotional, withdrawing sex, withdrawing attention, withdrawing affection, making your partner feel like they did something wrong, making them feel less attractive. There's so many forms of abuse. And honestly, until I went through each one, I really didn't realize I was being abused, because I just thought, this person's having a bad day, that's why they're ignoring me. But no, it was emotional abuse, and they were doing it on purpose to mentally condition me to get to the next step, which was the verbal and then the physical. This guy was a bum. He didn't have money to financially abuse me. But I've been through that too. I've been through financially abusive relationships with guys that had money that try to control me and stop me from working and all of that. So I didn't know all these things until I really went through it and started learning about it through counseling and networking with other survivors and learning about what narcissistic abuse is, what gaslighting is. I didn't realize my mother was a narcissist and that I was attracting a lot of narcissistic men, and I had a lot of narcissistic traits as well that I had to look at and work on myself. So, hold on, let's block this person. He says, I don't like that. You need a man to teach you some respect. That's abusive. You get these sick men that come on and want to make comments when we talk about domestic violence. That's why I normally keep it to that page. But when I do interviews, I have absolutely no problem. My nonprofit foundation started in 2016. Is called Survive to Thrive Global. We also have an Instagram page at Survive to Thrive Global and the website www.survivetothriveglobal.org if you want to check it out. But yeah, you get the creeps that come on here that want to say stuff. I can't.
Yeah, those are people that want attention.
Yeah, they get blocked. He got blocked.
Yeah, you'll get blocked immediately. We're here to talk about
positive stuff
and positive stuff. And if you're gonna come on here and say something crazy, you're gonna get blocked. Okay. If you have any questions for Chrissy, you can start typing your questions, and we'll answer them as they come. But yeah, that's something that's very important, because also you start picking up toxic traits and you think it's normal, and you go from relationship to relationship thinking like, okay, maybe this is how a relationship should be, but in reality it shouldn't.
And also too, as women, I mean, men and women can be abused, but I'm speaking as a woman because I'm a woman. As women, we're nurturers and we want to help that person. I felt sorry for the guy that abused me, because I saw that he had a hard life, and oh my God, let me help him and show him another side of life. He didn't want help. He didn't want to change, and he's gone on to continue to violate and abuse several other women since this happened to me in 2015. Because people are like, oh, you must have been the problem. No, I wasn't the problem, because obviously if he's doing this to everyone else, he's the problem. Yeah. So, there's a lot of victim blaming and a lot of victim shaming, which I didn't know about either. And I experienced that with a lot of my so-called friends. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just leave? It's not that easy to just leave when someone's threatening to kill you, find you, hunt you down, cut your face. They have all your information. It's no joke. It's no joke, especially if you have children. It's not so easy just to pull them out of school. If you don't have a dollar in the bank and you have no family, no support system, where are you really going?
Right.
So I hate when people say just leave. No, it's not that simple.
And then the other thing is that sometimes you don't see these signs until it's too late and you're too wrapped up into the relationship. No one wants to be abused.
No.
You don't go into a relationship and say, oh, I want this person to do bad things to me. You enter a relationship because you want somebody to love you and care for you. You guys to build a life together and have a good time together. No one wants to be abused. And many times the abuser wants to put the blame on the person they're abusing and makes them feel like they're worthless, like no one is going to love them because they're damaged. But in reality, they're the issue.
1,000%.
And maybe sometimes the abuser doesn't want to do it. They just can't help themselves. And
they can't.
Help.
This person really couldn't help himself. Like one time he hit me and he said, "Oh my God." Because I said, "Stop hitting me." He hit me in the car, I think because I changed the radio station or something so small. I said, "Why did you hit me? Just stop hitting me." He's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, I don't even, like, he knew. He's like, I don't know how to stop. Like, he's like, "You're right." Like, he out of control. But that, you realize that one time, that one wrong hit, one wrong punch could kill someone. So, I just learned recently that the guy that did all these things to me was shot, and he's permanently handicapped. And all I can chalk that up to is karma. Because not just for me, what he did to me, but what he's done to all the women before me and all the women after me.
Yeah.
Maybe that will slow him down. That's God's hand, I believe, reaching in and slowing it down because he's out of control.
There's no deed that you do in this world that goes unpunished. Whatever you do in this life comes right back to you.
1,000%.
In one form or another. It might not even be from that person. It might be from somebody else or for something that you hold dear.
Exactly.
But it will catch up to you.
1,000%. And I'm honestly glad that it happened, because if anyone deserves something horrible to happen to them, it was him, because he almost killed me. I have permanent hearing damage in my left ear. My left jaw was dislocated. He broke my front tooth. I had to get veneers. Cracked rib. I mean, countless injuries. So yeah, and he's done worse to other women. So I just pray he doesn't end up killing someone. That's what I really hope, because no one deserves that. So, yeah. So anybody that wants to check out my foundation, the page is Survive to Thrive Global. I started it in 2016. I'm a registered 501c3 nonprofit. And everything, on my page is confidential. We're going to start our meetings in New York City this month in August. We're actually looking for an event space. I was kind of like ready to book one, and I'm like, they're talking about closing everything down again. I'm like, I don't want to give somebody my deposit, then they try to play
and then lose it. Yeah, you don't want that. Definitely donate. And because Chrissy has been helping out a lot of victims of domestic violence, I've seen her work. Like, I've gone to events as well, and she's been doing a lot. And the first step is talking about it and seeing that you're not alone. There are millions of people going through what you're going through. So you're not alone. So
Exactly. Yeah, my place is, if it's anything, just even having an Instagram page is a place to show other survivors that I'm not alone, I'm not crazy. Mm-hmm. Just through us sharing our own testimonies and stories, somebody can relate to someone's story, because every situation is unique. So you don't have to go through what I went through, or maybe you went through something that someone else in Australia went through. I have people from all over the world. That's why it's called Survive to Thrive Global, because this is a global pandemic as well, and it's deadly. And honestly, it's never going to stop as long as people are born, because people are like, "Oh, I want to stop domestic violence." I'm like, let's be serious here. It's never going to stop. But we can try to prevent people from getting in those situations ahead of time with education, and say, "Oh my God, this is a red flag. Let me not deal with this person," before they even get in that deep where it gets to that point. So prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, I say.
And there are like a lot of misinformation, like certain things that I see online when people are like, "Oh, when you heal and you're on positive vibes, you don't encounter yourself with toxic relationships." That is a bunch of BS. Excuse my language, okay? That is not true. When you heal, then you recognize the signs, right? But that does not mean that you don't encounter people that are jaded and that are messed up. I dated a guy that was a complete narcissist after that he didn't put his hands on me,
but he
Mm-hmm.
was a master manipulator, narcissist, and had a woman and her son living with him the whole time at his house in Atlanta, lying to me, and the whole family covered for him. He took me to family functions. I thought I was, met the guy. He took me to see a $2.5 million home. He sold me the whole dream. But it was all part of a narcissistic play. And this is how sick he was. He had a fake $4 million letter of approval from a mortgage company that he forged. Full show. And for what? It was just he had nothing else to do but play these sick games and have a relationship all the time. So once I found out about the other girl, I completely deaded it, changed my number, moved on. He came, sending edible arrangements to the house, sending his niece to my door. I had to get a 2-year restraining order on him too, because then he started threatening me. So he didn't do anything but physically, but the other mental, verbal, and the narcissistic abuse were just as bad.
And that sounds like the start of like a fatal attraction situation, because it starts with the verbal.
He didn't want me. The other chick I found out left him and married someone else. So he thought he could come back a year after this. Like nothing. He tried to hit the reset button. Like, I'm supposed to have amnesia? No, I didn't remember. I didn't forget anything. Because I was hurt when I found out about the other girl. You know what I'm saying? So
that's another thing. And it's one thing that I've experienced. I'm sorry. It's one thing that I've experienced, to where you leave a situation and someone expects that as time goes by, you're going to forget about what happened, and then they can just come back into your life. No, honey.
No.
If you don't correct your actions on the spot and recognize that what you did was wrong, and then take steps to change it. And I'm talking about not people that are physically abusing you or anything like that. But when you have an issue in a relationship and someone doesn't take those actions to correct it, they think that you can just let time go by and then you sweep it under the rug and the person's going to come back to you. Maybe somebody else would, but I won't.
Yeah. But how many times have we had boyfriends where they try to come back a year later? But baby, once my love is gone and my feelings are gone, you're never going to have that back.
Like, so, I love you now, fix it.
Yeah, like if you don't fix it on the spot, like you said, while I still have feelings for you, then I'm gone for good. I've already moved on.
That's me. That's definitely me. Like,
I've never gone back to an ex. I cannot say I've never gone back to an ex. I'm friends with a lot of my exes because, they're bad people, most of them. But I'll never go back with you.
Have you had a situation where, with an ex, when you break up with him, you're cool with them because obviously they weren't like so bad to you, right? And then like you have like a slip and fall where you like sleep with them again, and
yeah,
just like, nah.
Yeah, it's familiar. But then you get angry remembering, oh God, he cheated on me. Then you remember
he doesn't deserve me.
Yeah. So it's like, I've slipped up. It was a lot of times the alcohol. I haven't had a drink in almost a year because of the blood clot situation. I'm on blood thinners now. But I feel better. My mind is less foggy without drinking. But a lot of the mistakes I made were under the influence of alcohol. When I did slip up and hook up with an ex or whatever for one night, I am blaming it on alcohol, because if I was sober like I am now, it would have never happened. I would have thought like,
right, like, no.
Whatever. I've already been with him, whatever. It's like whatever, but then you realize I'm too good.
Yeah, alcohol does cloud the judgment. Some people, even if you remember what you did or you say is intentional, it still clouds your judgment. You still don't make rational decisions. And it's also a scapegoat to try to escape whatever you're going through, your pain. But once you're able to liberate yourself from that, and you have like drugs or alcohol out of your system, you're going to be making more rational decisions. And the only way to subside the pain or heal is to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Everyone has problems. Everybody. Yeah. Okay, so therapy is not for crazy people. Therapy is not for people that are like damaged. Everyone needs a therapist. Everyone needs to see one. Like, I'm an advocate for that, because even to help you even prevent certain things, even for your children, it's good.
100%. But so many people have a stigma about therapy. For me, therapy is an unbiased person who doesn't know you from a hole in the wall, that's not passing judgment with an unbiased opinion. You know what I mean? Like, because you can sit and try to talk to your friends, but they're going to always give you their point of view as how they've known you for the last 15 or 20 years. So, you know what I mean? So they're going to weigh in their opinions, but it's really, but it's better to have an outside opinion of someone that doesn't know you or the person, where it can be, you know, just pure information and a pure sound advice. So.
It's someone that you can vent to, that doesn't know you, is not going to go back to your family, is not going to go back to your friends. This person is not going to gossip about you. So instead of gossiping to your friends or trying to vent to your friend, and that's what that person is there for. And they'll give you techniques that you can use to handle situations differently. Or maybe you're not seeing something that they can give you a different outlook on.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but you know, especially men, have an issue like, oh, I've had guys that I've dated that I've suggested to go to counseling. I'm not going to let somebody try to tell me how to think. But that's the stigma with mental health and therapy that, unfortunately, most men have grown up with, that they got to be tough, that therapy is for, you know, for sissies and put, you know, things like that. I don't want to use that word. But, you know, they get, you know, if they told somebody they were going to to therapy, that they would get laughed at. Like, oh, what are you, crazy now? You know, their family would judge them and things like that. So they just don't go because they think that it's going to be some kind of mind control and all that, which it's not.
It's not. It's really not.
And the people that need it the most won't go. So
that's true. That is so true. But we were talking about like stalkers earlier. You said there was this man that was stalking you. You have men and women that stalk you, okay? And that happens a lot with public figures and people that are in the limelight. That's bound to happen. There's this one stalker in particular. I don't know if I could talk about this person.
Don't say her name. Don't even give her the clout, but you can say my stalker because she's desperate for any mention or attention.
So this has been going on for a while, right?
5 years.
That's a very
maybe
long time.
6 now. Maybe 6 now.
It's just so crazy how Chrissy Stalker ended up in my DMs and ended up on my page. And she was like bashing me. And I'm like, who's this person? And then I found out it was like trying to get to Chrissy. And I'm like, this is just crazy. And it ended up on Love and Hip Hop. Yeah. And having an insight from a person that is close to Chrissy and sees what's going on, that portrayal of that Dr. Phil show really depicted things in such a sinister way that I did not appreciate. And I
left Dr. Phil show crying because I feel like I was just exploited, that I was, I left more traumatized. I felt re-violated leaving that show. I went there looking for help, and I wanted to plug my nonprofit foundation on a worldwide syndicated show. I'm not going to lie, that's major. But I really was looking for help with the situation, and hopefully he would put her into a treatment center or offer her some kind of counseling. He did none of that. He made it look like it was a mutual spat between two females. When I brought they have investigative journalists that work for that show. It's no joke. You can't just go on there and say, oh, I stole this from the store and then my mom yelled at me. Well, when did your mother yell at you? Why did she yell at you? Do you have proof? What did your mother say when she yelled at you? They want to know every single detail of the facts before they put you on their show. You can't just go on there with hearsay. I brought every police report, both of my orders of protection, every threat printed out, outlined, highlighted, everything. You would think that would be good enough. And the producers pretended they cared and were going to get me help. When I walked on that stage, she was already sitting on there with him and made it seem, she said I was stalking her. She was the one that contacted the show. The audacity just to be near me for that little bit of time.
And but, yeah, go ahead.
It backfired backfired because her little 5 minutes of fake fame, once that show aired, guess what? All my fans came for her, and she could not take that heat. When I tell you, she had a 2-hour mental breakdown on YouTube or live somewhere, crying over me, which was so disturbing. It really showed how mentally ill this woman is. And then don't get it twisted. I don't hate my stalker. I pray that this woman gets help. She's sick, really sick. She needs to be on medication and treatment. And no one's seeing this. So she's out here just stalking and menacing so many people. Even after I had her arrested for aggravated harassment and stalking, the Dr. Phil show seemed like it was a mutual thing. I wasn't arrested. I'm not the one with the order of protection against me. So how am I stalking anyone?
One of the things on the show that she said was, they came and kidnapped me from my house. And Dr. Phil's like, who kidnapped you? And she said, the sheriffs. The sheriffs kidnapped me from my house because she was getting arrested for whatever she did. And I'm like, how can this so-called doctor not see that this person sitting before him has some type of mental illness that needs to be addressed? I don't know her, so I'm not saying she's a bad person, but her coming into my DMs and my page, and I didn't even know who this woman was, really shows, you know, something. And then the things that were being said, oof, it was like bleep, 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 bleep,
but
bleep.
you're one of thousands of people she contacted just to obsess over me, which is sick. She was contacting 30, 40, 50 people a day just to talk about me every day. She says I had to be monitored and she would never leave me alone. And that, you know, like she felt as though stalking me was some sort of job. But sorry, it wasn't paid because you didn't make a penny from it. So
and it's crazy because you're such a nice person. Those of you that know Chrissy personally.
Okay, fresh batch of these. I sold out of the last ones. My song is on Spotify. The link is on my bio. I've even made sure.
I have to get that. So this is for the ones that are listening to me on the radio that are not able to see us visually. Chrissy just showed one of her products, and it's a shirt. It's a really cute shirt. It's very fashionable, designer-like, that says "Stop stalking me," you know, in the B word. But it's really cute, and I'm gonna get myself one. And speaking about that, you have the Serving Look shop.
Yes, Serving Look.
Cute stuff. Lip glosses.
These are my number one sellers. My lip glosses. These right now I have on the Barbie gloss, my Barbie pink, my Serving Looks, and I've had the name trademarked. A lot of people ask me for business advice. Number one, get your name protected and trademarked. But I have mattes, I have glosses, I have liners, I have mascara, I have skincare, I have apparel, and now I just started with jewelry that's going up. These are my Royal Crown collections, super cute. These are how cute. These are very popular. So I'm in my little office right now. So yeah, so I started my business when I got out of the hospital. Like I said, when we first started this conversation, I realized how little time we have when I was in the hospital and died in September. And I really, when I got out, I hit the ground running. Even though I was weak, I was 30 pounds smaller. I said, no going back. I was in the plastic surgery business. I had a marketing consulting business. I had an office on Madison Avenue. I said, I'm not going back to that. That's not my real calling. I need to get on the things that I said I wanted to do. So I immediately started my own online boutique, Serving Looks, because that's one of the things I said, oh, I'm going to start my own online store for years. Never did. Oh, I'm going to write a book. Never did. I want my own show. Never did it. Guess what? All of those things are done.
Now you did.
In what, 6 months? 7 months? Because I focused on the things that I really wanted to do for me instead of working with everyone else and BSing around. And dilly-dallying. Yes, it was lucrative. The plastic surgery business was very good to me financially, but I really didn't want to be in that. I didn't come to New York 20 years ago from Baltimore to be in the medical field, which is really what it is at the end of the day. I came here to be in the entertainment business, and I did my show, Finding Chrissy, which is being edited now, which will be airing on Amazon Prime the end of this month.
Yay! I'm so excited. So tell me, what is the show about? Finding Chrissy. Is it like a dating show?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. It's my reality after reality TV, because most of you guys do know me from Love and Hip Hop. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you got to know me. You got to see my really intimate personal life in a lot of ways. And then, where was I? I left. I broke up with the guy that I was with. And this happens with a lot of people. You guys watch these shows and you become kind of like best friends in your head with us, because you see how we are and you can relate to a lot of things that we go through. And then we disappear. Well, I want to show you my life after reality TV, because also when you're on a show of that magnitude, I don't care what anyone says, you're marked for life. Your life changes forever. There's no going back to your life before that. People are always going to associate you with that show. So I wanted to show what I'm doing now after being on a show like that. What do people do after being famous? And then what do you go back to? Let's be real. I got a job. I learned a new trade in the plastics. I became a plastic surgery consultant, and I did very well at that because bills still needed to be paid, right? So I talk a little bit about having that. And then my dating life has been crazy because being on TV, people Google you. These guys think they know all about you. You go on a date. They're sitting here spitting facts, which 80% of them are not true. Or something somebody wrote on a blog, and it's creepy. It's like date's over. So it's been really hard for me to date after being on reality TV. Friends, it's like all these opportunists come at you thinking you're going to be able to get them on TV, help them with their music, all of that. No. So you attract all these fake and phony people. Mm-hmm. I haven't changed. The people around me, a lot of them changed. Mm-hmm. And it shows me going out on 2 dates. Me in building my brand, serving looks, just everything I'm really doing now. Me with my Survivors Global, mm-hmm. me and my friends, me and my neighbors, just the funny stuff. My life is really fun and entertaining every single day. And this company actually was reaching out to me for 3 years, but I was too busy making money to do my show, which is backwards, right? But that was where my head was at. I'm like, oh, I'll do it next year. Once I got out of that hospital, I said, I'm ready to do the show. I called the publishing company that's been reaching out to me for the last 2 years as well. I said, I'm ready to do the book. We have one more writing session next week. The book will be done. Hopefully, like, that will be pre-released on Amazon. I think I mentioned that earlier, by September 7th, my birthday. No, I mentioned it before you got on. So I'm doing it. Everything I said I was going to do, I've done. Amen. And I have more things to conquer.
Amen. So your book is about your life? Yes. Do you have a title for your book?
No, you know, I'm in
part of your life.
From childhood till now. And really, the trauma, and you know, a lot of people don't know I haven't spoken to my mother in 14 years. She's alive and well. I can't say well, but she texted me karma's a bitch when I was in the hospital. Oh, no. Yeah, this is the type of mother that I had. I've had no mother. I grew up on my own. So I'm in between like 3 different titles. I raised myself. My mother left when I was 12 and told me, you're old enough to take care of yourself, and left with my brother's friend that was staying in our basement. Ended up marrying him and getting strung out on drugs. So I raised myself. It was me and my dad, who was a functional alcoholic. So, you know, I made a lot of mistakes, but I talk about all of that in the book. Me living on the other side of the law for many years, because that's all I knew was fast money. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was going to last forever. But I know that God put certain opportunities like Love and Hip Hop in my path to see that you're better than what you're doing. it's time for a change. I wanted to change. I'm a high school dropout. I wanted to change. I just didn't know how. You know, when you don't have a college degree or a job history, where do you go? Like, where do you start? I didn't know where to start. So that kept me stuck in the street life for many, many, many years because I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I felt like I wasn't good enough to be in certain social circles or in certain, you know, jobs and stuff like that. I was afraid to go on a job interview. Where have you been the last 20 years? What do you say? You know what I'm saying? So that deterred me a lot, but you know, I always stuck with auditioning and modeling and acting and things like that, and that's how I got that transition to love and hip hop. And honestly, being on that show, people started coming to me with opportunities. You know, I didn't have to worry about going for a job interview. They saw me and wanted me for this. They wanted me to write a column in their magazine, you know, this and that. So all these opportunities, it just came pouring in, and I definitely believe that's God's hand in my life. So things worked out. You know, I used to worry all the time about my future. Oh my God, I'm going to end up old and homeless and broke because, you know, I wasted so many years and so much money. No, I shouldn't have never worried at all. Everything's but worry. What is worry now? I don't worry about anything. So,
That's good. That's
yes.
good. And you've changed your life around, you know, from one side of a lifestyle to another one. You're a boss, you're a business owner.
Well, I've always been a boss and a business owner, but illegal businesses.
In a different, you know, in a different.
I went from the whole business to show business. Put it that way. Yeah. So, you know, I was in the adult entertainment world for many years because that was the easiest. I'm a beautiful girl. I used my looks to get me by all my life. And to me, I knew I had more to offer. I was more than just a pretty girl. I had so much creativity in me, and it was frustrating that I didn't know how to release that creativity and my smartness. I owned a clothing store in Baltimore, even though I had other things going on. All this is in the book, but I really am lucky I'm not in dead or in jail. And it was a lot of the men that I dated who are no longer with us and things like that. Just me not being in one situation saved my life. You know, my ex was murdered. I was with for 10 years that I was with in Baltimore. And I almost was this close to being in the car with them, and they shot up the car. So, you know, there's a lot of things I talk about in my book that people don't know that went on before I even got to New York. I almost didn't get to New York. Like, I moved here, I knew 2 people and started my whole life over. So all of that is in the book. That I really aim for this book to be an inspiration to people that may have been once in my situation and saw no hope. Because at one time I had no hope and no support system. To this day, I don't really have much of a support system. But I don't let that stop me. I'm my support system. God is my support system. So that's all I need. And here, voila, serving looks, global, finding Chrissy. The book is coming out. And I still have a laundry list of other things that I'd like to do. So, you know.
Do you have a release date for your book?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a release date for the book?
Like I said, September 7th, hopefully, we'll have the pre-orders available on Amazon. Okay. So I actually did a 2-hour writing session today with the publishing company. It's out of Atlanta. It's called Leeds Press. They did Jay Alexander from Fubu's book, and they published a lot of really cool people's books. And they also have a distribution deal with Paramount. So you never know. If they like my life story, it could be a movie. God willing. Anything's possible. Listen, I'm living proof. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Trust me. So,
yeah.
Yes, girl. Yes.
And so what is your dating life like now?
Girl. Honestly, I date younger men because I'm telling you, guys my age or older, I meet some nice ones. But all I hear about is the exes and the baggage, and they have trust issues. You know, the wife's getting all their money, and she took the house, and the kids, all the child support. And man, it gets old. They don't really want to go out. They want to sit in the house. They don't really want to do much sexually. They're like, the stamina, whatever. Younger men for me are fun. I live in New York.
How much younger though? How much younger are we talking here? give
Right?
me like an age. You're like the youngest to the oldest.
I'm talking to someone who's 25 and I'm 48.
Okay,
But
so 25 to what?
he's more mature than a lot of these guys that are my age or older. And he has money. So
I'm more for like an older than me kind of.
That's true. But you're younger than me. So older for you isn't so bad. He's probably, 30 something, right? 40. Well, whatever. I don't know how old you are, but you look young.
And up.
So for me, if I'm dating older, he's like 70. I'm almost 50. So I don't want to date a 70-year-old and change his opinions. Girl, bye. I want to listen, I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off. If I can get a younger man that is fun and wants to go out to dinner, and it's fun, just to have that companionship. I'm not looking to marry them.
Okay.
In the meantime, until whoever's meant to be crosses my path, because I don't make plans. God, it's already been written. You know what I'm saying? My fate is already, my destiny is written. God has already got the right person for me. I don't think I've met him yet, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this, I want this, and this is the person. In the meantime, until I find that right one, I'm having fun. And I believe encourage everyone else to enjoy their lives too. If I feel like a younger man is attracted to me and is offering to take me out on a nice dinner, why not? Who cares what people think?
It's like is a mental connection important to you, or like what type of connection? Like how would you rate it?
Mental connection is everything. I've gone out with some really fine men and they're dumb as a rock. So it's like such a disappointment. But then I've dated some guys who weren't so attractive and ended up kind of falling in love, to my surprise. You never know. So that's why I don't really, if somebody's somewhat attractive to me in some kind of level, if he makes me laugh or he has good conversation, I'll give him a chance, because eventually we're all going to get older, God willing, and looks are going to fade. So I only put so much into looks, but I have to be attracted to you in some capacity to be with you. If I'm not attracted to you, then I can't sit with somebody that I don't like. That's even with friends. Like, who brought this chick? I can't be around her. Like, she has nothing to talk about. Get her out of here. Like, I can't waste my precious time being around people who don't mentally stimulate me, make me laugh, or I can learn something from. I like to be around intelligence and smart people and fun people. So I find a lot of younger guys are more fun in the meantime. So
see, I'm looking at this from a different perspective as you're saying it, but I've always seen it like men don't have anything to offer a woman until they're 33 and older.
But if you're dating a guy, I mean, there's professional guys are signed to professional sports teams. There's guys now that own startup tech companies. There's guys that are multimillionaires by the time they're 30 now. I mean, it's a whole different world out here.
That is true. But see, in your dating pool, it's different because, like you have like the network, the popularity, but I'm talking about women that don't have like that, that don't really know a lot of people, that pretty much what they get is what's around them. I can't say that's me, but we're speaking to the public here. So I would, like tell my homegirls, like a man has an offer until he reaches 33 and up, because that's when he's like excelling at his career. He knows what he wants, some younger men. But if we're talking about athletes and we're talking about business owners, that's different right there.
But like I said, I'm not looking to marry any of these guys. They're in the meantime, in between time. Like, I know what I'm really looking for, which ideally would be someone in my age bracket. Let's be realistic. That's accomplished, that's already built, that's already, like I said, has his own business, or spiritually grounded,
Mm-hmm.
no substance abuse problems. He's already gotten all the running around and the hose out of his system, the clubbing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, a lot of men are going to slip up. I don't believe I don't believe most men are faithful. I like to have faith that they are. And you know what? If you're going to cheat on me, do it where you're not out here making me look stupid. Do it on a business trip out of town. Make sure I don't find out about it. Don't have me out here like messing with one of my friends or something like that. I'm a realist. You know, the baggage part can be worked on if I meet somebody around my age, because I can tell them, listen, it's over with. You're not going back. Sometimes you got to be their therapist. Like, it's done. There's no changing the past. You know what I'm saying? So, but if they keep going on and on about it, that's the only issue I have with men my age or older, is they're stuck in the past. But realistically, these younger men are not ready to be in a relationship. So it leaves me kind of in limbo. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a dating app right now for the first time in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, I got tons and tons and tons of guys. It's worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, attractive men, but I really haven't responded to any of them yet. One guy I wrote back hot. So I'm giving that a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the dating app situation, you may see somebody that you'll never ever cross walking down the street a day in your life that may be meant for you.
That's true. That's true.
You know, so it's just more of like kind of online shopping
Mm-hmm.
for a man, and more giving you more of a variety. Because where I live in New York, you see the same people all the time. It's like,
Yeah, like and a lot of
yeah,
people have moved out since the pandemic too. It's pretty much ghost town when it comes to like the
I
city
can't.
life and people that actually, you know.
New York is a whole different animal with dating, because you have all these hot models here, actresses and stuff. These guys are fickle, very extremely fickle, and they end up dating until they're 60 because they can, especially if they have money.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to date as many women as they can, until they really can't anymore, looks wise or whatever. But as long as they have money, they're going to always find somebody in New York that wants to date them. These women here are super gold diggers. You know this.
Yeah.
And they're out here looking for men to take care of them. So it's just a lot. And they look good. I mean, don't get it wrong. Like, I'm not out here trying to compete with these girls in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind at my age. Guys know that I'm older, but there are a lot of younger men that like older women. Most of the guys I do date are in their 30s. Let's be real. But the youngest one right now is 25. Shame. Half my age, but I told him, you're too young for me. You're half my age. This ain't going to ever be anything more. You know what I'm saying?
You never know. You never know.
What's he
You
going to
never-
be pushing me around in my wheelchair in 20 years, girl? Bye.
You never know. See, the thing about it is that I think that when you build a connection with someone, a true, deep, meaningful connection is what I'm talking about. Sometimes, like, finances are not a factor, looks are not a factor, age is not a factor, whatever social status you're in, none of that is a factor, because you really bonded and truly connected with someone. I know that we build a list of the stuff that we want in our partners. Oh, they have to have this, have to have that. But you can't really tell who you're going to fall in love with and who you're going to actually connect with. So
Yeah.
if this man ends up developing true love for you, he probably would push you and take care of you to the end of days. You just don't know. You don't know. But that's what it's for, to explore and see what comes. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But just be open to.
Yeah, I'm open to it, because honestly, I'm kind of past the whole love thing. I'm kind of at the time of my life too where I'm looking for more stability, where I could kind of learn to love you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been in love, and I really think it's kind of overrated, even though I love being in love.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also get hurt too being in love. And I really have my walls up with I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Everyone's been hurt.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that. Everyone's been cheated on. Everyone's been hurt. But I'd rather maybe find someone that can take care of me in my older years, and make my life easier, where I can just not worry about anything but my nonprofit foundation, my online business, the things, my endeavors. And just because I want to, not because I have to have an online business, not because I have to pay bills, but he's financially stable enough where, baby, just relax, go get your nails done, things like that. And, just be taken care of, because I've been taking care of myself and everybody else my whole life. It would be nice to be taken care of for once and be vulnerable.
That's true. I mean, I've always heard that a woman can learn to love a man. Like, you can be in a relationship with a man and not love him initially, and it can grow, but it's not the same as far as a man towards a woman. Like,
I believe the man has to love you more.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, I agree, because it might not even work that way. We're givers, we're nurturers. When we love someone, we give everything we have. And sometimes if the man doesn't love you as much as he needs to, he's gonna destroy you completely.
Listen, I've been engaged 4 times, and every single time a man has put a ring on it, it's because he loved me more, and I treated him like crap. And I didn't mean it on purpose. Yeah. It was the guys that I was nice to and sweet to that took full advantage. Oh, she's not going anywhere. She'll be here. That cheated on me, that lied to me, because they just weren't as into me as the other guys who were into me, that wanted to marry me and all that and lock it in. They putting a ring on it, to me, is, most men associate their self-worth with what they earn and their success in life, with their social status and everything, with their jobs and, what they make, what kind of car they drive. So for me, putting a ring on it is, you've taken some of your hard-earned money, which is saying a lot. You've purchased a ring, $15,000 or more, and proposed to me, which means you're serious about me. Some people say, well, that's shallow. No, it's a symbol that you're taking me serious, and you're actually it's kind of like a contract, because even when you go to court, if you break that engagement, the judge is going to say, give that man his ring back, because that was a contract that you were going to marry him. Give that man his ring back. So, I'm just saying, these guys are out here just doing them, and they're doing the most, especially with social media. How do you trust a man? I would need your passcodes. I would need all that.
Yeah. Because they slide in people's DMs and they start following accounts they're not supposed to be following, and doing.
Why are you liking her picture? Like, I'm too jealous, and I can admit that. And it has nothing to do with me being insecure.
I think it's a respect thing, because my thing is, think about it this way, for the men that are listening. For the men that are listening, think about it this way. You wouldn't want for another man to feel like they can have your woman. If your woman was liking dudes' pictures and commenting on them, they're making that man feel like, yeah, I could have her.
Exactly.
Or wait for him to slip up so that I can, get her, because she's into me, and the only reason why she's not letting me get to third base or whatever it is because you're in the way. It's the same thing for women. If you're constantly like on a woman's page, like in her pictures, commenting in her DMs, she feels like, oh, I could have him. And that's together for whatever reason, but I could have him.
If you are in a committed relationship, you have no business liking half-naked photos of women on Instagram. It's disrespectful.
Are you following those type of accounts?
What?
Or even following those type of accounts.
Absolutely. I find it very disrespectful. And then guys always want to minimize it. Oh, it's just Instagram.
No.
Well, it just hurts my feelings. So don't minimize it. If I'm mentioning it to you, it bothers me enough to mention it to you. And
That's for
what
sure.
kills me, so many women are out here pretending, oh, girl, that don't bother me. I'm secure.
It
But
has
really,
nothing
it
to do
does
with it.
bother you. Stop playing. Stop fronting. It bothers you.
That has nothing to do. See, when people like mislabel things, there's something called respect in a relationship and commitment. Okay, it's not about being insecure or feeling that someone could take your man or whatever the case may be. It's about your man having respect for what you have. That's what it's about. It has
Exactly.
nothing. It doesn't even have to do with the other person. It has nothing
It's
to do with the
about,
other woman or the other man. It has to do with how your partner is going to respect you and the
yeah.
expectation that you have on the relationship,
I
because you
shouldn't have
guys
to
are
tell you
committed to each
twice
other.
to stop doing it. Yeah, I should not have to tell you twice, hey, I don't like it. It bothers me. Yeah, you were single recently until we made this commitment. I know you might be used to that, but get unused to it. And
Yeah,
if you want to go back to being single, go back to that because you can't have me and have all that other stuff. No.
it's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
so, no, it's sad. Like I can't do it. I'm just no. I'm too much because I give my all when I'm in love. I like if I
Mhm.
love you, I love you. You got everything. I'm gonna be your whole world. You're my whole world. Like that whole true love. I don't see a space for you fawning over these half naked chicks. Like what do you have to do that for? No. Especially if it's somebody I know. I've had that happen. I was dealing with a dude, this
Mhm.
casual, younger guy, nothing serious. He was liking my best friend's bikini pics. She doesn't even know you. Why are you doing that? I made her block him. Like,
So you didn't make him block her. You
no,
made her
it's not
block him.
she doesn't even know the guy. She doesn't even know he was liking her pictures, but I saw it. So we have an order. Me and my friends all have. If I say block him, she calls me, says block him. You don't even need an explanation. We're
Right.
friends. These guys come and go.
Mhm.
But we're friends. So it's the reason if I'm saying block this guy because he's, but why are you liking my best friend of 20 years bikini pics? He was
It's
doing it on
called
purpose.
it's called lusting. Call it what
I think
they're lusting over another woman, and
I don't,
every time that you think about, and this is for the men, when you think that your woman is tripping, put yourself in her shoes and be like, would I like her to do this to me? Roles reverse.
yeah,
Okay.
think about it, guys. Say you have a hot guy friend come over in gray sweatpants and your woman is staring at his crotch.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just says, and you say something like, what are you staring at? And she just says, it's only looking. She minimizes it just like you're only looking at Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Have you ever heard this guy? Now that we're in the dating topic, called Kevin Samuels.
I love him.
Okay.
I watch him all the time. I love him. The Godfather. Yeah. At first, I was a little taken aback by his delivery, but I see he's so sharp and he's so intelligent.
Yeah.
He obviously has listened to comments of people saying, stop being so mean. He really has softened up as far as his delivery. But for
Yeah.
me, I'm a big believer in it's the message, not the message.
Mm-hmm.
So he's spot on, and he backs up everything he says. He
That
backs
is
up
true.
everything he says.
I
I
completely
love
agree
him.
with you. At first, I was like, I don't like his delivery. The way that he speaks to women is very disrespectful. But the message behind it is actually real. It's a
Yeah,
real thing. And there's this sense of entitlement of how what women want and they have to have, but they don't have the
yeah. And what are
requirements.
you bringing to the table? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's made me look at things from such a different perspective. I would love to meet him. I think he's awesome. I have no complaints about him. He's giving it up and he's backing it up.
I don't know if he's single. Kevin, if you're listening, reach out to Chrissy.
No,
No, as friends,
no. I'm
yes.
sure he would say I'm in the danger zone and I'm too old for him, but that's okay. Um, you know, No, I watched him earlier, actually. He's great. Like, he really, and then he hits on this stuff with these men too. Don't think he's just coming down on the women.
Mm-hmm.
He shames these men. Like, he says, I would never let a woman reach in her purse and pay for a meal. I pay for all my women's dates because he is a gentleman. A lot of men could learn from the things that he's speaking on about just basic mannerisms and having some class.
Right.
Right?
It's just being a gentleman.
Exactly.
And the people that look at it different, they want to call it, oh, you're a gold digger if you expect for a man to pay for your meal, or if you expect this and this and that, you're a gold digger.
A meal. Can we get back to that? That's poor people talk. If a guy even mentions who's paying for dinner, or can we go Dutch, there's not going to be a date.
See,
You're talking about paying for food, some sustenance.
If I'm not going on dates now because obviously I am taken, but but I would go on a date. When I went on dates with, I didn't have any expectations. Like, I would go well prepared. Like, if I have to pay for it, I'll pay for it.
Always, ladies, always bring your own money because you never know what kind of loser he might turn out to be. But
if I pay for my meal, that would be our last date. I wouldn't even tell you though.
You would never even hear from me again.
You
if a guy can't even pay, and you don't gotta take me to Philippe's. We could go to Olive Garden. Everybody knows I love the OG. I love the Olive Garden. Okay. You could take me out to a $50 Olive Garden meal and I would be just as happy. It doesn't have to be an expensive meal. But if you can't afford to pay for a woman's food, reevaluate, why am I even dating? I should be looking for another source of income.
Right, correct.
That's low class stuff to me. Talking about food,
and this is not a gold digger mentality. Like, I was raised in a household, right? My parents are still together. They've been married for over 30-something years. They have a bunch of children together. And my dad was the provider, and my mom was the housewife. My mom didn't have to pick up bills or do any of that stuff. I saw my dad always working, my mom always taking care of home and making sure that things were taken care of. That's how I grew up. So now I'm a working woman, right? So I'm not saying I'm expecting for men to come into my life and do everything for me. That's not, but if we're on the early dating stages and there's no sort of effort and you're expecting for me to be your roommate or this so-called, I don't know what it is, but I'm not a man. I'm a woman and I play my role. Okay.
And
so
these guys will retort with, oh, what about women? You all want equal rights. Now you're crying about it. Yeah, I want equal rights in the workplace, not in my love life. I want you to be a gentleman. I want to be a lady. I want you to pull out my chair. I want you to make me feel special on our date. I want you to court me. And you want me to reach in my wallet and embarrass me? That's degrading.
Have that ever happened to you?
It's happened.
What happened?
You find out these guys are broke. You don't even want to know what happened.
But this is the thing. All right, tell me the story.
I went to Philippe's to meet this guy. I met him at a gas station in Queens. He was fine. Iced out, car, cute. Woo. We met at Philippe's for dinner. And I said, my girlfriend's going to meet us towards the end of the dinner because she and I are going to go out to a club. We were going to Nell's on 14th Street. He's like, okay, no problem. So he orders one drink, says he's not hungry, that he already ate. So I already knew that's the number one sign. When they say they're not hungry, they already ate. So I knew this guy was cheap or broke, despite the jewelry and all that, because that's really not a real clear indication that he has money. The women don't ever, I always tell women, don't be fooled by all this. Because they could be up to their ears in debt, or everything is in his baby mother's name, the car and all that. You don't know. So my girlfriend gets to the restaurant, and she texts me from across the table. OMG. I said, what? She said, I know this guy. I said, from where? She said, he's a pimp. He tried to get me to come on. She's very beautiful. He tried to pull me.
I don't mean to laugh.
I said, oh my God. So look, so I automatically was like, okay, so have a good time. I automatically pulled out my own money and paid my part because I don't want this dude thinking I owe him nothing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I only ordered some chicken satay and a lychee martini. What's that, $40? Whatever. Put my money. I said, okay, so we're leaving. We're going to the club. I had already told him where we were going.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this guy show up at Mel's with his stable of hoes later on that night? And they were ratchet, like 4 of them. I mean, honey, the whole rainbow dress with the damn, just ratchet chicks that you could tell they were his girls. So I was just like, so then he's trying to get in VIP with me and my friend. I denied him. I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't
I
get
don't know him.
2 bottles. He was trying to come and drink off of our bottles.
Oh my gosh. You know what happened to this girl? It wasn't me. This is a story that I heard from somebody else. She went out on a date with a guy, and the guy said, hey, you can only order from this side of the menu. Don't order from this side. So, all
God.
right.
If I can't order whatever I want, don't take me out. Period. Or take me somewhere that you can afford.
So this is the thing. If a man is making the effort to take you out on a date, he's not saying, hey, pay for half. He's not telling you, put out your wallet. But he's just pretty much letting you know, this is what I can afford. We're in a nicer restaurant, but just order from this side of the menu. And you're on a first date.
Should have took me somewhere else.
Let's say he's good looking and guys have a great conversation. That would be a no for you.
You should have taken me somewhere else that you could afford. No.
Applebee's? Would Applebee's work for you?
Well, I don't eat Applebee's because they ship it in frozen. It's like microwave. It's nasty. But I would do Olive Garden or Red Lobster.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a true story, though.
But I can afford to pay for whatever I want. That's not even the point. It's the point of how were you raised? What type of man are you? What are your core beliefs as being a gentleman? Like, if you expect me to pay half the meal, then you're going to be expecting for half of everything. You obviously need financial help, especially if they're asking you, oh, well, how much do you make? Don't ever ask me how much I make, because I'm going to lie and tell you I'm broke as shit. I'm always play broke. They're going to say, well, what kind of job do you have? They're going to try to figure out your salary.
Your money.
They're looking for someone to help them. They're not looking for love. They're looking for help. They want to say, oh, we build together. No, I want you to be built, and I'm already built, and we come together, and we really could shut things down. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not, oh, help me with half and this and that. Well, then I'm going to give you half of this BJ tonight. I'm going to give you half of this tonight. So you want to do half. I'm going to do both. I'm all or nothing. No. But need be. If something happened to my man or whatever, I'm going to hold it down. But I want my man to be a protector and a provider. Mm-hmm. So I can relax, like Kevin Samuel says, in my feminine energy. Mm-hmm. And be happy and pleasant. Mm-hmm. When my man walks through that door, and make sure he is well taken care of. He's effed, fed, and he's relaxed. You need a massage. Mm-hmm. You need, make sure he's good and relaxed to go to work the next day and bring home that coin.
Yeah, make sure you're their peace and that you're submissive. That you actually listen. Especially if you have a man that
was half. You need half of my money. I can't submit to you.
From what I learned, because when I heard like this 50-50 thing, I was looking at it sideways. But from what I learned is that you can do 50-50, but that doesn't mean you're coming in 50% financially. There's other things that as a woman that you do that bring in that other side of things. For example, cooking for your man, making sure the home is taken care of, making sure that you're being submissive to him and honoring him and respecting him as a man, because respect is a big thing when it comes to men and relationships. So they're supposed to love you, and you're supposed to respect them and have that
100%.
respect for them.
And be there, inspire him, you know, keep him going as a man, as a provider. But, you know, a lot of these guys are looking for women to take care of them, which is sad to me. It's like, are you kidding? I can't. I have no. And there's women out here that say they're okay with the whole 50-50 thing. Honestly, no, they're not. They secretly resent that situation. You don't think that they want to be home, getting their nails done, taking care of the house, decorating, cooking, trying new recipes, spending more time with their kids, having lunch with their girlfriends, and taking care of their hair and makeup for their man to come home and all that, because now they can relax. You can't tell me you wouldn't rather have that. You know, you'd rather be at a job, giving up half your paycheck to this guy that you're 50-50 with, and now you're stressed
Still
out.
treats you like ish.
Yeah, and you're stressed out when you get home from work, and you can't make sure your man is really relaxed and taken care of because you're stressed out, because you hate your boss, you hate your coworkers. That's why it doesn't work to me. No, I need to relax to make sure you're relaxed.
So now I just said, wait, but I don't cook. Well, you can always take some lessons, you know? You can always, like, Google us, try it.
You can always learn. Anything can be taught and learned. Listen, anything can be taught.
Anything. Well, Chrissy, thank you so much.
I know, my girlfriend's blowing me up now, like, where are we going to dinner? I'm trying to think now, I want some Philippe's. And we can pay for our own meals.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. You are awesome. You're amazing. Check out Finding Chrissy on Amazon. And check out for her
ServingLooks.shop. You look at my banner back here. ServingLooks.shop. That's my logo. Yes. So ServingLooks.shop is my website. SurviveToThriveGlobal.org. And everything else is coming along.
Amazing.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you, Chrissy.